Shri Damodar Ashtakam ki jai. They're fighting over it.
Do you like
me? Do you think to fight over it? I'll be okay. I'm wondering what's happened to the microphones. Yeah. We haven't been able to find any microphones for the last 2 days. Don't go anywhere right now. Just follow up on it. Okay, put it on your message system. Both Baptiste, and who is here or not, and Shantatma and maybe someone else were searching for microphones, but they couldn't find any anyway. Okay. Where they've gone? The mysterious microphones. Okay, so today is the first day of Damodar Mass, which means the month of Damodar. We're not going to talk about the pastime of Damodar today. That will come up later. That will come up on the day of Diwali. The pastime of Damodar Leela takes place on the day of Diwali. That's the most, you could say for us, in one sense, the most significant factor about the day of Diwali. For others, it may be other reasons, but we'll talk about that if we're talking at all. Someone else may be talking, whoever's talking. It may come up on that day. Different, let's say, historical, transcendental reasons why the day of Diwali is celebrated the way it is throughout the subcontinent of India, right? You're from India. Everywhere in India they celebrate Diwali. It's a national holiday in India. Yep. It's a national holiday in Malaysia, which is a Muslim country, and in some other places too. It's, in one sense, the most significant day in the Hindu calendar for many people, isn't it? Practically speaking, depending on who they worship. But generally speaking, everyone observes. But that's this month of Damodar. So that's, you could say, the name of Damodar Mass, particularly this pastime of the Lord who is bound by ropes. Damodar means that. It is bound around the belly with rope. So it's Damodar Mass. Now but today we're going to talk in more general for the month, you could say. Not so much on a specific aspect of the month, or even the name of the month. But we're going to talk more about the month of Damodar in terms of its practical significance for aspiring devotees, those who wish to advance in spiritual paths. The Lord has, you can say, mercifully arranged it such this month as a special opportunity, incentive, and it's a joyful one. It's not like, you have to stand on your head for 30 days or eat, dry barley or something, for nothing. No, it's a joyful vrata, this one. You can do some of those things, but it doesn't necessarily please Krishna anyway. How will that please Krishna if you just eat, boiled barley for a month or something? Is that going to make him happy? I don't think so. Or if you submerge yourself, we have a lake, submerge yourself in the lake for 30 days. I don't know if you can submerge yourself even if you wanted to. It's dry, I think, isn't it? Dried up, more or less. There's not much water left. Sometimes people do these things. They take on these kind of self-manufactured vratas, means austerities, some vows. But the real vow is the vow to live one's life for the pleasure of Krishna, isn't it? So in this month you could say, well, how can I behave in a way which will be more pleasing to Krishna? That would be a nice vrata. How can I chant in a way which will be more pleasing to Krishna? How can I honour prasadam in a way which will be more pleasing to Krishna? Not just pleasing to me. We all know how to eat to please ourselves, but let's think about pleasing Krishna. Things like that you can do. But we'll come on to that in a bit more detail in a minute. I didn't have time to prepare anything new, special, or anything. I just happened to press the button previous mail which I sent out to devotees on this month of Kartik. So I'm just going to read some of that for a preparation, you could say, for our hearts, to remind ourselves of the opportunity we have. We have an opportunity, every moment, especially in this month. I can't think of an exact word or example, but it's like sometimes you get extra points, like for instance at Christmas, right? I see on the road, the police, they give you extra points on the road if you speed, isn't it? Is that right? They give you extra points?
Take away.
Oh, I thought they gave you points.
No.
Oh, anyway, you get the idea. It's a special time, and you get extra benefits at that time if you go fast, right? It's the opposite. But it's the same principle. Certain times things are more than normal, or maybe some special sale is there. You have sales, right? New Year's sale in England. I don't know if you have New Year's sale here in France. Do you have a New Year's sale? Sometimes, winter sale, whatever you call it. And you get things at a discounted price, right? Or maybe if you, if you buy now, you get extra dividends, or you don't have to pay interest, or something or another.
Buy one, get one.
Huh?
Buy
one, get one free. Okay, so this month is like that. Whatever you invest, you get extra returns. Extra returns. So we can read a little bit from different scriptures to set the scene. This is from the Skanda Purana. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Gnananjana Chalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Shvayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Shvapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. That was not from the Skanda Purana. I was just trying to impress you or something. Off by heart, I know these verses from the Skanda. No, these are from other places. But this is from the Skanda Purana, what we'll read now. As Satya Yuga is the best of yugas, ages, as the Vedas are the best among scriptures, as Ganga is best of rivers, so Kartik is the best of months. the most dear to Lord Krishna. Why is it the most dear?
Because this is the month of Radharani.
Yes, although we call it Damodar Mas, it's actually the month of Kartik. There's two things going on here. The month is Kartik. It's the month of Radharani. This is her special month. We talked about that a little bit the other day, so we're not going to touch on that. That will come up more on the day of, probably of Diwali. Let's see. It's considered the holiest of months. This month is very dear to the devotees of Krishna. Why? Why is it dear to the devotees?
Because Krishna likes.
Yes, because it's dear to Krishna.
Yes.
Right? And because it's dear to devotees, it's dear to Krishna. Because it's dear to Krishna, it's dear to the devotees. It's a very dear month. All around. Whatever is dear to Krishna is dear to the devotees. Lord Shiva said, of all plants, this is from the Padma Purana, of all plants, the sacred Tulsi is most dear to me. We don't understand that at this moment very much, perhaps, but it's a fact. Tulsi Devi is... Sometimes people say, you need the association of a pure devotee. It's a fact. So we have the great fortune of associating with Tulsi Devi all the time, practically. Of all months, Kartik is most dear. Of all places of pilgrimage, because this is Krishna speaking in a particular context, my beloved Dwarka is most dear. And of all days, Ekadashi is most dear. Of course, we all know the most dear to the Lord. Everyone is most dear, but the most dear of the most dear is, of course, Vrindavan. The scriptures say that any devotional activity performed during this holiest month is very pleasing to Krishna. Kartik is special because it represents Srimati Radharani, beloved of Krishna and our eternal mother. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of months I am Margashirsha. It's not exactly Kartik, but anyway, it's quoted here. Kartik's month is October-November, represents Radharani, and it precedes Krishna's month. Krishna's month is November-December. So October-November is Radharani. So Radharani first, then Krishna. Srimati Radharani is also known as Kartika Devi. And if we can please her with our sincere devotion during this auspicious month, then Krishna will also be pleased. The Skanda Purana glorifies the Kartik month. We read that. So some other, I would like to mention some other things about this month. We got a long list here, but on that particular aspect of the month. Rendering devotional service during this month is,
1,000 more.
sometimes it's said you get 1,000 times benefit during this month. Sometimes. Listen, be careful about performing austere apparats during this month. Try not to, avoid apparats during this month. Good idea. Apparats. What does apparata mean?
Offenses.
Offenses. You might get, you get benefits there, but you be careful. You don't want 1,000 times the reaction for that. What does apparata mean?
Something Appa against Radharani.
Yeah, it literally means displeasing to Radha. That which is displeasing to Radharani. Kartik month is the best month for spiritual progress. Many scriptures sing the glories of this auspicious month. And here's some quotes. Now, not giving the particular scripture particularly here, but these are mostly from the Narada Purana in a conversation between Mohini Devi and Rukmangada. Now, don't ask me who Rukmangada is. I don't know. And these are some points from that scripture. What can you do during Kartik month? Let's have a look at some of the things we can do. As I say, this is just to remind us of the value of this month for those who want to make spiritual advancement. Now, Prabhupada did write one time, he said, Kartik is for karmis. Yes. Kartik is for karmis. Confirmed. You know why?
Because they're allured by this sales kind of thing.
You can say that, yes. It's an allurement for them to at least try to do things like be vegetarian for 1 month, or go to the temple regularly, or do something which they don't normally do. Try to avoid sex or something during this month. Be more religious or something. So how does that apply to devotees? That means we don't follow it?
Prabhupada was more kind of, during Prabhupada's time, there were like 16, 17 hours of service every day.
Yeah, the whole year. Prabhupada said every year, even a Kadashi is, in a sense, for devotees, every day is like fulfilling that purpose practically. So Kartik is all year, for devotees, more or less all year round, they're fully engaged in devotional service. But this is a special month. If there was perform that service during this month in the mentality, positive attitude, and trying to remember this. It is for the devotees a great impetus for us to become a little more Krishna conscious and to remind ourselves of what we're here for. What is the objective of what we're doing? To respect other devotees, to serve the Vaishnavas. And you can make all kinds of different thoughts. Think about it. What can I do? Which I may be going about my annual services in various ways, or daily services, but what can I do in this month? A little bit of a, extra push. Sometimes it's definitely helpful for devotees. So here are some of the things which are recommended. If you can say these are little karma kandya, and it's not necessarily the main incentive for the devotee. They may sound a little bit materialistic, because the devotee is not wanting material returns. We're not even worried in one sense. We are right now, that's the point. The point is we're not pure devotees. We still have some materialistic tendencies. So there's an element of devotional service is not pure. It's mixed with karma, which means we have some fruitive mentality or desire for freedom, liberation, whatever it is. Karma, mishra, bhakti, it's mixed a little bit with materialistic concepts. But if one offers a lamp during the month of Kartik, his sins of many thousands and millions of births perish in half an eye blink. So you can see how for a karmis this is a pretty good opportunity. Huh? So devotees, even for devotees, we have to remember one thing, that our tendencies, our desires, which come into our consciousness, are karmic reactions. They're not us. They're karmic reactions which we're faced with. So even that can be cured or purified. Of course, this consciousness, the degree of devotion, this is going much deeper. These things usually refer to more kind of, aparubda reactions which come from, bad activities, direct reactions, broken legs, going to hell, whatever it may be. But people don't generally think, even devotees, we don't generally think that reactions mean the thoughts are in my mind or my tendencies. We often identify ourselves as being those tendencies. Right? I am this, I am that. We're not this or that. These are just our sojourn, our journey in this world develops a certain type of perception, a conception in the heart, and a perception around us. Tendencies to react in such ways or attracted to such things, behavior patterns. These are all results of our journey, our karmic journey in this world. And that can be changed. Our purpose in Krishna consciousness is not to accommodate our tendencies exactly. An element of that is there. But the purpose is not to be controlled by these tendencies and identify with them, but to utilize them in Krishna's service. To become free of unwanted tendencies too, and that's a positive thing. By becoming attracted to Krishna, developing a tendency to act for the pleasure of Krishna, what does Krishna like, instead of what I like because of my conditioned nature. It's a transformation from one to the other, from Atmendriya to Krishnendriya. So this is also a reaction, and this activity is special mercy given when we offer the lamps with devotion to Radha Damodar, to their lordships. One can get purified from this also. Another one, even if there is no mantras or pious deeds and no purity, everything becomes perfect when a person offers a lamp during the month of Kartik. Even more so, you could say. Even if there's no purity, it doesn't mean... That means a person who's not a devotee, not practicing anything, somehow or another, if they offer a lamp to the deity in this month, the results are unending. It can happen in half an eye blink, as it says here. It can happen in half an eye blink. It may take a little time before it matures. A person who during the month of Kartik offers a lamp to Lord Keshava has already performed all yajnas, sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord, and bathed in all the holy rivers. It's like we say when one who understands, or one who's engaged in devotional service, that's the perfection, the purpose of all the Vedas. What's the purpose of the Veda? It is to serve Krishna, to know Krishna. That means to serve Krishna. So one who's engaged in devotional service, he's understood already the purpose of the Vedas. You don't need to make that separate endeavor. Yavan arta udapani sarvatak samplatodike. All purposes are served to one who knows the purpose behind the Vedas. So this is an act which is very, very pleasing to Radha and Krishna. So one will attain liberation, one will be freed from the cycle of birth and death. The ancestors say when someone in our family pleases Lord Keshava by offering him a lamp during the month of Kartik, then by the mercy of the Lord, who holds the Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, he will attain liberation. Everything's about pleasing Krishna. This brings pleasure to the Lord. To one who either at home or in the temple offers a lamp during the month of Kartik, Lord Vasudeva gives a great result. A person who offers a lamp to Lord Krishna during the month of Damodar becomes very glorious and fortunate. By offering a ghee lamp during the month of Kartik, one burns away a collection of sins as big as Mount Meru or Mount Mandara. They're quite big. I don't know how big they are. Are they bigger than... I haven't got any mountains around it. Are they bigger than Mont Blanc? Mont Blanc, is that the mountain in France? Mont Blanc? Oui? Bigger than Mont Blanc? Mont Blanc? Bigger? Bigger than Mont Blanc? I mean, this much bigger? How bigger? You can't measure. You probably wouldn't even see it if it was in front of it. It's so big, it would occupy the entire vista. They're huge. These mountains are universal mountains which are beyond the perception of earthly beings. They're vast. So even if you have a mountain of sins that big, it can be burned away by offering a lamp during Kartik. No sins exist in the three worlds that will not be purified by offering a lamp to Lord Keshava during Kartik. Seems easy, doesn't it? Doesn't seem very difficult. It seems pretty easy to become purified of our sins like this. A person who offers a lamp to Lord Damodar during Kartik attains the eternal spiritual world where there is no suffering. One who offers a steady ghee lamp to Lord Hari during the month of Kartik enjoys pastimes in Lord Hari's splendid spiritual world. That was from the Padma Purana. They're from different Puranas. Of all gifts, the gift of a ghee lamp during the month of Kartik is the best. Thank you. No gift is its equal. Makes it sound pretty amazing, doesn't it? We kind of take it a little for granted sometimes. Maybe even don't bother. I fall into that trap. But this is simple austerity. This is why Srila Prabhupada, basically speaking, other than offering a lamp to the Lord and singing the Damodar Astakam prayers, what else did Prabhupada recommend during this month? What did he recommend? I don't know of anything he recommended. You know anything? Other than offering a lamp and singing Damodarastakam. This is the main thing during this month. It's not, and we're only doing it once a day. Not so difficult. Even if you're not in the temple, you can do it wherever you are. It's very simple. Faith. I won't get into it. You can ask later on. I'll share some realizations if you want about this. Sounds too easy to be true. It doesn't even say every day here. It just says offers a lamp during the month of Kartik. What can we say? Krishna can do anything he likes. Sometimes we hear these statements, it removes all the sinful reactions, but we're still attached. There's still an attachment to mundane. Still seeing oneself. Don't forget, one of these said, one of these statements, it said here, where is that one? Yeah. Where is it? Anyway, it was indicating the mood, the pleasure of Lord Damodar. Are we doing it for the pleasure of Lord Damodar? That we have to see. So there's also that involved, is our reason for offering it. So here's some ways we can, let's say, observe this month. We've already mentioned the ghee lamp, offering the ghee lamp. Sanatana Goswami says that during Kartik month we should offer a ghee lamp daily to Krishna. While offering the lamp with love, we should sing Damodarastakam prayers, which you do every day during this month. Try to enter into their meaning, into the meditation on what's going on. Chanting the holy names of the Lord is very important. We all know this. Those of us who have taken a vow to chant 16 rounds daily, we can try to chant more. And if you're not chanting 16, try to chant 16. Not just on our beads, but other times. Much of the time we're not chanting, perhaps we could be. It is, whatever it is, it is. But this month, well, maybe if we pray and take advantage of this, we might get the inspiration within, or the clearance of our consciousness within, to chant the holy name more. When we're working in the fields, in the forest, or on the daily worship, whatever it is, to chant Krishna's names more. Try to focus more on reading Prabhupada's books during this month. What else can you think of? What can you do in this month? Which is doable. I mean, something doable.
Distributing Prabhupada books.
Yeah, you could try to distribute, you could do something like that. You try to make it part of your life. Whenever you get the chance to distribute Prabhupada's books. This month we're still hoping with one thing after another. Now there's a latest update, by the way. Oh, Bhagavati is not here, she would like this one. Oh, you're there. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are, in the dark. Hiding in the dark corner there. There's now a big strike going on in France, and you go to the petrol station, there's nothing there. There's no fuel in the petrol station. So what does that mean? We can't get a truck to bring the books here, because there's no fuel to put in the truck. We have 720 Bhagavatam sets sitting in the storeroom waiting to come here. 12,000 Bhagavad Gitas and 10,000 other books, all waiting to come on a lorry to come here, but they can't come here because there's no fuel. We can't get a lorry now. Firstly, we couldn't get a lorry. Now we can't get petrol. Although we've been thinking of that. Yeah, there's only 20 tons of books waiting to come. Only 20 tons. You know what a ton is? It's 1,000 kilos. What's that come to? About 200,000 kilos of books. Is that right? No, 20,000 kilos. 20,000 kilos of books waiting to come. That's a lot of books. No, it's not a small amount. It's 32 pallets. You know, pallets are about this size, stacked up like high in the sky. Not high, but maybe this meter or two high, of books waiting to come. So we're still hoping by offering a lamp every day to the Lord. So please, may the books come. Even if we don't get freed from our sinful reactions, I think I'd be happier to get the books here. And the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we have a chance to distribute them. So that's okay, that's a nice thing. Reading the books, reading the books is so important. Hearing, reading, attending the morning program. Oh, in the month of Kartik, that's so powerful. I know it's not always easy to get up there in the early morning hours, getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's very difficult, I know that. Is it 8 o'clock we get up, is it? What time do you start your morning program here? I've forgotten. What time does it start?
8:15.
8:15, breakfast at 8:45, it starts at breakfast time. Huh? Getting up for Mangal Arti, there's nothing like it, right? I mean, right? It's very special. And in this month, we make the effort. If we don't go, try to come sometimes. It's incredible. Chant your japa in the Association of Devotees, morning program. Reading Prabhupada's books. Reading Prabhupada's books, it purifies. Have you ever noticed that? When your mind is wandering and you're developing various concepts, ideas, and you spend some time with no particular agenda, just reading Srila Prabhupada's books for an hour or two, or whatever you can do, even 15 minutes. But something. Have you ever noticed the effect? Have you ever noticed the effect? What's the effect?
You feel happy after.
That's the positive thing. You feel very happy. Okay, that's good. You're very lucky if you feel happy. What other effects may be there?
You are Krishnaized.
Pardon?
Krishnaized.
Krishnized? Krishnized, really good one. You feel Krishnized, as Prabhupada said. Krishnized. Your consciousness becomes Krishnized. Becomes remembering Krishna. Anyone else?
Become more peaceful.
More peaceful. Well, that can be seen in many ways. Like, suddenly all those problems and, different ideas. We're going to do this and that and this and that. And so are we going to do this? Things become clearer also. Much clearer. Your intelligence becomes sharp. This is the words, I haven't got that here, but here it said purifies our intelligence. But there's one place where Prabhupada says sharpens the intelligence. So the intelligence becomes clearer. You become clearer. You're seeing things instead of from our conditioning and whatever experience we've had in devotional service, which is not complete. We're starting to see things which called Shastra Chakshu, through the eyes of the Shastra. Instead of, I see it like this, and blah, 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 blah. We're not seeing properly. We can't see. We see properly through eyes of Shastra, scripture. That cleanses our vision or our way of perceiving things. Clears many of our doubts also. Many doubts are automatically cleared up. So many different things there. Purifying us, so many things. Inspiring us, helping us to control our senses, right? Yes, you could go on and on. There's no end to the list, you could say. It's very important. If you have that opportunity, and we do have that opportunity, I'm sure there's some moments here and there. I remember Dhanavir Goswami, when he was a brahmachari in LA, at that time Vishnu Jan. Where's Vishnu Jan? He was the temple commander then. Maybe not the same Vishnu Jan, I don't know. But Vishnu Jan is Vishnu Janananda. The Vishnu Jan Maharaj was the temple commander of LA, and Dhanavir asked him, Maharaj, I really want to read Prabhupada's books. Can you please give me an hour or two a day to read? He said, no. No. Because those days we would start service at 9 and finish at 10 in the evening. Including evening program. But otherwise all... Prasad was there. Breakfast was 8:45, 9, I don't know, 8:30, whatever the schedule. Then lunch would be there and evening meal would be there. But otherwise, boom, all day. Non-stop service. So we call it. But he discovered that his non-stop service had a few gaps in it. Vishnu Jan Maharaj said, you find the time. You find the time. And sure enough, he found the time. waiting for prasadam in the line. Of course, we're not recommending, you do have to talk, and we're not robots. But he, as a young brahmachari, found the time waiting for prasadam instead of waiting. Who's going to serve prasadam? We need some service, please. I'm too busy. 10 minutes later, we need some service. Service, please. I'm too busy. We're still stood in the queue or sat on the floor. And, if you got up and served, it would probably be quicker to get prasadam anyway. But sometimes we sit there or we stand there, we're not doing anything. He would read a book. Or the Sankirtan van is waiting. They're not driving. You pick up a book, read it on the way to Sankirtan. And we wouldn't waste a second. Wherever he was, he would be reading a book when he wasn't doing practical service. And he actually made a note, and that's why he is what he is in one sense, of every 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And he ended up 2 hours a day reading without reducing 1 minute of his service. And he is a very precise and engaged person. What to speak of us who are not perhaps so precise or engaged. We sometimes spend more time talking about I don't have any time than we do have doing things. Anyway, whatever. I'm sure we can find little time during this month of Kartik to read Prabhupada's books. What else can we do during this month?
Learn.
Pardon?
Learn shastras.
Learn?
Learn shastras.
Learn Shastra.
Learn Shastra. Remember verses or different things like that. Yes, you could definitely do things like that. Remember pastimes, remember verses, something or another which you've heard, read. You can listen to lectures while you're doing your service if you can. Sometimes devotees wear these earphones, and sometimes you're not able to, but sometimes you do that. Or you can have a tape playing, listening to Prabhupada's bhajan or lecture or something. Without necessarily having to do anything more than we're doing now, it just adds to what we're doing, that's all. Without being, unsocial or disturbing others, of course, we have to bear in mind the environment. But there's always ways of adding to what we're doing, not changing it, but adding. This is the secret of Kartik, is to add, not to stop doing what we're doing. My Vrata Prabhu, here we go. That was my Vrata gone down. What's the cartel? My Vrata is I'm going to chant 128 rounds a day during Kartik. Can you imagine? Prabhu, can you help Sir Prasadam? No, I'm chanting my rounds. Prabhu, can you help wash the pots? Forget it, I'm chanting my rounds. We're going on Sankirtan, Prabhu. I'm not, I'm chanting my rounds. Prabhu, can you, you think that pleases Krishna? No, definitely not. The whole purpose of chanting is how I can serve you, Krishna. Isn't it? The fruit of their chanting is that we want to render more service. That's the result, that we're actually chanting. If we don't render service, that means we are not chanting. If we don't have this mood, we're doing something. We're getting prepared maybe, but we're not really chanting. Because if we're really chanting, the desire will be, I just want to serve you in every way you want. We're not at that level. That's the actual result of real chanting. We want to serve Krishna. It doesn't mean instead of chanting. Chanting goes on while we serve. We're in the practicing stage. We're not at that level. In the spiritual world, they're chanting, but not chanting on beads. They're constantly chanting Krishna's glories and fully engaged in activity that brings pleasure to Krishna. Try to associate more with the devotees. Spiritual association will help us to develop spiritual consciousness. And by seeing other devotees resolve, we too get impetus to practice devotional life with sincerity. You could go on and on with different little things we could do without reducing what we're already doing. Little things to add. Or improve the consciousness in which we do what we're doing. Not so much what we do, even the consciousness in which we do it. To be a little bit more conscious of Krishna. I'll give an example. And I'm not saying it's practical here, it's not. Something to discuss. Not everybody likes it. But we used to always have a reading, for instance, during prasadam. It wouldn't be a social club. Everyone sits around having social, interaction for an hour and forgets entirely about the whole idea of prasadam, what we're really doing here. Now, not everybody's in that position, so you have situations for different types of practitioners. Some want, they want that, they're not ready for that. But an area where devotees who do want it can sit and hear Krishna Katha during Prasadam. Very blissful. We used to do that. Chanting, what else can we do? Okay, here's another one. Okay, this is not so much for the devotees here, maybe for some of us. If possible, we should try to visit the temple. Hopefully everyone here is all doing something there. But many people are not. So this, as I say, a lot of this is for general. But maybe we can visit the temple more often. Maybe. And participate with the devotees in offering a lamp. So come and associate with devotees together. Glorify Radha Damodar. Glorify the deities and offer this lamp for their pleasure. Chanting, singing, dancing, offering lamps to the deities in the temple is always very pleasing and brings joy to our heart, isn't it? We dance together and chant together. Come for kirtan. Try, if your health allows, sing, dance, chant, whatever we can do. And if you're living at home, you can do most of these things at home. The homework. I guess that we're already doing all these things. That's why I say much of this, I sent this out for our congregation mainly. During this month we should try to eat only prasadam. Hopefully devotees are only doing that already, but sometimes we don't. Yeah. Sometimes we either forget or we still have a little fetish, a little attraction to other things sometimes. Prasadam is, of course, food offered to Krishna, properly offered to the Lord. We can do other things, of course. The devotees are already following many of these things, like regulative principles, for instance. Trying to avoid, maybe you can reduce your internet, let's say, association or whatever. What do people do now? Facebook? Is that still around?
WhatsApp, Facebook.
Pardon?
WhatsApp,
Facebook. What else do you have?
Instagram.
Pardon?
Instagram.
I don't even know what Instagram is. I've never seen
Me
it.
neither, just the name.
TikTok.
What? TikTok. I've heard of TikTok because of the marathon last year. We sold hundreds of Bhagavad Gitas.
YouTube.
YouTube. Isn't there something called Flickr? Is that a similar thing? Flickr? That's different, is it?
Flickr? It's just a photo share.
Oh, that's just photos, okay. Probably shows a lot of photos you shouldn't look at, but things that sometimes we get captivated by. You go on one thing, leads to another, isn't it? One day I was telling me the other day, you see a devotional thing, YouTube, you press the button, you go on YouTube, and okay, there's a beautiful YouTube of a lecture or kirtan or something, right? Devotional. But there's a whole list of things next to it of 101 other YouTubers. You tend to go to the right and see what that's all about. And that leads you to another 108. And before you know it, you completely forgot what you went on there for in the first place. And 2 hours has passed and, what happened? How did I get here? You sort of wake up from a dream of some kind. It's not a dream, it can be worse than a dream. It can be a total diversion from the objective. Huh?
The nightmare.
And it can be a nightmare, yeah. So all these things can, we can try to be a little bit more conscious of this, at least. Try to utilize our time a little bit more effectively, yeah? I guess everyone here is aware of the 4 regulations. That's why for people in general, try to follow at least the regulations. Regulative principles of freedom. What about tea and coffee? What about chocolate? Tea and coffee may be already understood and practiced by most of us, I guess. Chocolate's another one. Well, maybe we like chocolate, maybe it's not that bad, maybe it is. But maybe we can avoid little things like that during this month, huh? I asked this to Jayadvaita Maharaj a few weeks ago when he was here. He's writing a book on the 4 regulative principles. I said, what about chocolate? He said, I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to mention it. It's just one of those subjects which is like, don't talk about it. But we all know, how can it benefit us in our spiritual advancement? How? And they say, the resolution, you can't really offer it to Krishna. Then the question is, on earth, who do we offer it to? If we don't offer it to Krishna, who do we offer it to besides me? Who else do we offer it to? Not me, I mean whoever likes chocolate. Who else? Who's you supposed to offer it to, you know?
My tongue.
My tongue. The tongue of me, not the tongue of Vishnu. It's one of those dilemma situations. Quote this and that. But anyway, we're going to forget about chocolate. You can do something like that. So Krishna's pleased. You know, if we just something which is displeasing or not so, try to do things which are more pleasing to Krishna. Not you don't do it. Try to do what we're doing in a more pleasing way, or do things which are more pleasing to Krishna. If you are a chocolate addict, reduce your chocolate. Something, if you can't give it up. But at least in the month of Kartik, that's basically what people enjoy. It's right here. Look at this. Maybe you can put it. Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter addiction. Try to give up that addiction during this month. Too much social media. What's social media?
Facebook, Instagram.
That's all social media stuff, is it? Communications through modern means of technology and things, whatever. Some people are very attached to that. I mean, I am in a different way. Not Facebook or Twitter and all these things, but in other ways. Sometimes we do too much in that area. I don't know what Prabhupada would say if you were personally present today. I remember in 1976, I think, Rameshwar Prabhu, Maharaj then, wrote to Prabhupada saying, Srila Prabhupada, we've just got a telex machine. You know what a telex machine is? Anyone old enough to remember a telex machine?
Like a fax machine?
Yeah, sort of. You do it in your own home. You can type it and type in quite a monster. You type it in, it's supposed to come out. The other person now has to have a telex machine to receive it. So he is saying, should we install these programs? It's a great means of communication. I can type a letter, it comes straight out over there, and it's accurate. Because telegrams were the media of previous to this, and telegrams were 50% mistakes. There's so many mistakes on telegrams. You've got timings wrong, everything wrong sometimes, dates wrong. It was very inaccurate. So he said, this is very accurate, Prabhupada. We can exactly tell, each other, communicate nicely. What was Prabhupada's reaction?
Just push off that.
He said, no. It will simply increase the gossip. And that's where you've got to sit there, tap, 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 tap. And it's only if you've got one, you receive it. What can you speak of modern social media? You go on some of these things, you press a button and 1 million people receive it, and you press the wrong button. You ever had that one? You press the send and you didn't mean to press the send, and it's too late. It's out there to 1 million people. And those millions send it to another 50 million. And before you know it, the whole world knows about it. You're finished. It's razor's edge, the whole system. The problem wasn't even into telex machines. I don't know what he'd say with all our modern systems. They can all be used for Krishna's service, but you've got to be very careful. It doesn't increase our gossip. Yeah. Anyway, these are just some things. It's 8 o'clock. We heard about chanting our japa, how we've all become expert using our left hands. One thing is good, if you want to improve your usage of your left hand, japa is a very good way of doing it. You know how that works?
Use your phone in one hand.
Yeah, you've got your phone there, you're tapping away on your mobile phone with your left hand, You become very, very expert in your left hand at doing other things, Because your right hand's supposed to be chanting, and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. You got your computer there, like little things. Anyway, we can go on. Hare Krishna. If Krishna is pleased, if Radha is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Hari Bhakti Vilas says that one should worship Lord Damodar and daily recite the prayer known as Damodarastakam, which has been spoken by the great sage Satyavrata and which attracts Lord Damodar. So during this Kartik month, we should always try to meditate on the beautiful Damodar pastimes of the Lord and try to bind Krishna within our heart with love. We bind him by this, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. So this way, the more we do our service in consciousness, how it can improve, or how it can bring more pleasure to Krishna, then we bind Krishna. Shri Damodarastakam ki jai, Shri Damodar ki jai, Shri Kartak Bhatta ki jai. But day by day you can think of more things and do a little bit. Don't try to do too much at once. Something, at least something which we can add to our daily service. Hare Krishna. Oh.